The world is different.
Beyond a lifetime ago, a war between nature and civilization arose overnight, seemingly without reason. 50 years ago, it paused in a tense stalemate.
1 year ago, on a cold winter's day, the mountainous city of Bulwark erupted as its long-held godly prisoner escaped his chains from beneath the stone. The decimation was the righting of a great wrong, but a terrible price was paid.
Our heroes, who set the freedom and destruction in motion, were called to the lands of their former enemy to help this god on his path to reascension. Their mission complete, their eyes turned back to a threat at home.
They look at their footprints, at the trail that they've blazed, a trail that led them to redemption and peace. Now, the same footprints lead them back home, and they walk a path where they might just find the end. And as the sun rises over the summit, they face the day together. Hello, and welcome back to Another Path. My name is Chase, and I continue to be your GM. Today, our heroes split up to talk to the powers that be, to try to save Lee from the struggle of the Divine Spark. Thank you to our backers, Duval, Roger, and JJ for their support. If you'd like to support the show, please check us out at our Patreon, patreon.com/ghostlightmedia. You can also give us a rating or review on your podcatcher app of choice. And with that, sit back, relax, and enjoy your trip down another path.
Here we are.
We're in the episode.
I started saying my usual, we made it, but then I stopped myself. And now I'm saying
then you
it
did
again
anyways.
because, you know what? I'm allowed to be proud of myself for catching myself on a thing. And although it lessens that fact that I brought it up, I'm still proud of myself nonetheless.
See, I just caught myself on writing down my notes for this session. I always label the top of the page with what campaign it is and what recording session it is. And this is the first time of Summit that I've remembered to just write Summit and not write Canopy and then scratch it out.
It's like when the new year finally happens and everyone screws up the year and you got to figure out how to adjust it into the make it
Can
the
I
right
can I
thing.
tell you how much not working in banking has removed that particular stressor from my life?
That's fair.
Just tenfold.
Because being in banking, it was a daily occurrence for minimum 3 months.
I'm assuming you'd have to do a lot of paperwork.
Yeah. I got to be extra cognizant of that now because I work with money now.
Oh, boy.
Yes, you do.
I handle money.
Do you, though? Do you actually see that many dollar bills?
Yeah, actually. I mean, like, maybe not bank tier, but, like, a substantial amount. An amount of money that should it fall into my lap, I would be like, okay, yes.
Yeah, so a place that Griffin's works, if a large chunk of money goes missing, it was Griffin. Get him. It wasn't me. Get him. It wasn't me. Get him.
We are, of course, still speaking of the bread mines.
Yes.
Well,
yes.
actually,
perpetual bread
I want to
mines.
maybe bring this conversation to Chase and Ryan, because Zach and I talked about this a little bit on Pet Shop.
And we blundered deeply.
We didn't blunder it. We called the Cookie Factory the Cookie Factory.
Yep.
And we called the bread mines the bread mines.
Yeah.
What do I call my workplace
Well,
now?
okay, so it's already got a pretty great name.
It does.
But we can't use it. So I'm going to go with...
I know, right?
Good Brain Times.
I don't hate it.
I don't hate Good Brain Times.
I'm working at the Good Brain Times.
Working at the Science Factory.
Yeah.
Science Factory's all right.
Science
I think I
Factory's all right.
suggested like
We already
I
used
said like
Factory,
Dino
though.
Library or something.
You said the
Dino Library
Factory.
does make you sound like you're at the Smithsonian, which I am a fan of.
Dino Store.
Yeah.
Dino
Dino
Store. That's
Store.
not bad.
Oh,
That's
See,
not
Dino
bad.
Store's pretty good because if we keep playing this game, I'm a distance boy.
Can we call this an indoor...
So-
Is this just inside science camp?
I mean,
It's a little wordy.
It's a little wordy. It's too many syllables.
I think this is a good step 2. This is a good round 2 of brainstorming. We'll sit on it. The other resolution I think I told Zach was we just call it like Fred or something.
yeah,
Fred,
it's just Jim.
you work for Jim.
Yeah.
No, I work at. place. So like I work at Kyle or I work at Sebastian.
I think it was Kyle was the name.
Okay, all right. So
Probably.
here's my other suggestion. Hard pivot.
Ready.
We specifically call it something it's not. Like you work at Planet Fitness now.
I'm not against that.
So Griff, how are things at Hooters going?
Things at GameStop are great. Thank you for asking.
Awesome, good. I'm glad
And
to hear
eventually we'll just say all of
that.
them.
Yeah, I've heard really good things about Longhorn Steakhouse. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
an incredible
Fridays
time.
is
Yeah,
great.
yeah. Now, have you figured out the Swedish furniture store entirely? You know the map now. You can just show people around.
I can actually show people around.
Okay, that's
so,
good.
yeah. Like and it's great too because people will say like, I want to go to the thing with the bodies. I'm like, that's on level 2. That was a real question I got today.
That's good.
Ooh. Can I make a related pivot to what Ryan just said?
Do it.
I went to an IKEA for the first time this week.
I think that's why it was in my head.
I find IKEA extremely underwhelming.
It was fine.
That's
I did
Zach
not
Rob's
have-
hot take.
I am going to preemptively say, did not have the meatballs. I was there with my mother from out of town, and my dear brother Chuck refused to allow us to have IKEA food while my mom was in town. We did have to go somewhere marginally nicer.
Good.
Costco.
IKEA is nicer than
All right,
Costco.
all right.
Yeah.
And the candy we got from IKEA fucking slapped.
Nice.
It's like, oh
Yeah,
boy, there's a Kulen over there. You gotta love it. Oh, what? There's a Frigg. Gotta love a good Frigg.
Dude, don't hate on my Frey.
If I'm gonna wander through a giant warehouse, I will take a Home Depot. Thank you.
Here's the thing, and I am certainly not the first person to have this take, because this is also a take Chuck and I shared as we were walking through. They all do have these very, very Swedish-sounding names.
Yeah.
Except for Billy. Billy the bookcase.
Nice.
Billy is a modular style of bookcase. Billy. And here's the thing. Billy fucking owns.
Get you a Billy.
I'm going to rip off a joke that you made, Chase, in I think the second Birds arc. But a deluxe, like a deluxe Billy, is that just like a normal William?
It's still a good joke.
Anyway, smash cut.
Is this our
but I smash cut.
I'm sorry. You can edit me out. I was gonna do a bit about this being our swap to the left episode, so we're recording Shakespeare.
Yes.
We should do one of them. We should do that for the next, because we are coming up on another Uz episode for the Patreon.
Yeah, we got figured that out.
Yep.
Yep.
I still got to make that fucking bedtime scarecrow mug.
Fuck yeah. Kick ass.
Let's play D&D.
Let's play D&D.
Play D
Okay.
and D.
Kick ass.
Both, please.
One.
Only one D.
You'll find out which one it is.
Oh, God, I don't like it.
All right, so we make it back to our rooms and make sure there's no Mo.
Mo's gone.
Great. And Rakar's not back?
Rakar? No. Rakar left around the same time as you, but Rakar has not returned.
So it's just the four of us then.
Yep.
Detect magic. I cast detect magic
Ooh.
for the room
Mm-hmm.
because we cannot be overheard in this moment.
Go ahead. Roll me a perception check at advantage.
Cool. 23.
There is a light coming from within the couch cushions.
Mo. Good call.
Mo left something.
I
You
go
pull
and dig it out. Yeah.
It's one of those little rocks that he had last time.
Oh,
Very good.
Nice.
really good catch.
I take the rock, and I fiddle with it for a second, and then I go, "Yeah, I don't." I just well, and then I like hold up like a hand and like a slash motion at my throat, and then I just hand it over to Baelit.
I take my hammer out and just hold it up.
Baelit turns it over in his hand, tosses it in the air. Pew, pew, 3 Eldritch Blasts. This thing is dust.
That works. I thought we were just going to turn it off, but that works too.
I wanted to taunt them more.
He did turn it off.
Permanently.
I didn't know what might have been said while we weren't here.
That's fair.
Because it also, depending on when this was placed, might have been here from before and might have heard us talking while we were not talking to Mo.
That's true.
We didn't say too much, really.
No,
really.
but
Nothing that apparently that asshole didn't already know. So it is what it is.
I don't like how much you knew.
Cool.
Yeah.
So it's just sorry, detect magic was just the one thing? Really?
Yeah, that you found it.
Is the charcuterie board magic?
Yes, but you can tell it's only with a cleaning spell to make sure that the oils don't like soak in.
Cool.
Okay. All right.
Nice.
So we're going to talk to Leia, and then we're going to talk to the bishops again. This has been a busy day. I'm kind of tired, frankly.
I feel in sort of a bind, honestly, because I know we need to figure out what to do with this spark, but I know we also are on somewhat of a time crunch. Like, we do need to leave soon. I just now don't want that reason for us leaving to be because Mantellum told us to.
Right.
Look. I was saying that we should head back, and then we decided that we should help deal with this. So let's do this right.
Yeah.
If we're going to stay here.
I mean, that's the question. Do we stay or do we go? Because I don't want to leave, but maybe that 24 hours is enough time for the bishops to get their shit together and actually figure out how to solve this problem without us.
Come on and let me know. Should we stay or should we go?
So, Baylett, evidence dungeon, please.
Baylett just opens the door to his room, and it's still all set up in there. Yep.
All right, so if we don't let Mantellum have this thing, like if we assume that, it has to go to someone, otherwise nothing is solved. Because all of the problems out here, they're not going to be fixed by Mantellum or someone specific getting this thing, but everything's only going to get worse. Somebody has to take this thing.
Yeah.
And I just kind of look at the board. I'm like, so we have an archbishop do it, or the archbishops collectively do it? I don't see a lot of other options.
I have a suggestion, actually. This crossed my mind. Because it doesn't... I don't know how this would work exactly, but when we were in the Feywild, Jackson, you talked with Gaia, right? About Gaia and Amareya sort of forming a kind of alliance.
Sure, yeah.
Is there a way we could get this spark into Gaia's hands to make that far more of a reality?
Look,
We talked about that as an idea.
I don't hate that idea. I am going to have to convince her to do that because that means her leaving the Feywild.
I know.
And I don't know if she'd do it or not, and I think that
But that would leave two gods, and I know that Amareya is sort of a new flavor to the wilds, but Gaia, I think, is something very familiar to the people of the wilds. The premise of it, the Green Lady.
The only issue with doing that is that we would have to get it to her, which could be tricky, because the moment that thing leaves the temple, it's fucking open season.
Yeah.
we would have to be able to get
that becomes a beacon. And
yeah. I don't know how quickly or easily we could.
We also don't have a way to get into the Feywild. I mean,
we could call the Brotherhood.
Did they have a way to get there? I mean, I know that some areas are. The last area that was the veil was thin. That was back in Clove, and likely Gaia was able to spit us out.
Place like this, though, there's got to be a thin somewhere.
Mm-hmm. I have one other thing I wanted to point out. Just I think to clarify, I think that even if there was an element of us that wanted to side with Mantellum, I don't think we can. For I looked through the evidence dungeon for that. And I point out the trade agreements and the fact that Graynor is going through a drought right now.
He did very specifically say any agreements that were set up during the peace talks would be honored.
He also said that he didn't give a shit about trade. And I'm worried. I'm worried. Okay, he says this. Thank you, Baelet. We're holding him to his word. That's it. There's nothing binding. He's not going to be the one making that decision. His people are. He could renege like that.
Yeah.
And I'm not willing. I'm not going to put our home at risk for that.
I think that we should check with your mom, Mordecai.
Yeah.
We have 24 hours. If we can get Gaia involved and we can come up with some kind of a plan to get the spark to Gaia or get Gaia to the spark, game over. We can do whatever we want kind of at that point, because if we have that plan in place and we have Gaia saying she'll do this thing, we can make the archbishops fall in line and get on board with the Gaia plan, because the alternative is Mantellum takes this, whether we actively oppose him or we leave in a week.
Right.
The archbishops don't have an alternative option, right? What are they going to do?
Try and fight?
Yeah, but they don't. Even if the archbishops and the holy people fight Mantellum and his men, his goons, the Goontellums, and even if they manage to kill Mantellum,
which they would be very unlikely because, frankly, they're nearly powerless at this point.
Exactly. Even if they got to that and they did it, they're still stuck in the same situation. They don't have a god.
Yeah.
The spark is loose. Somebody has to take this thing for the wilds to continue as they do.
And if the archbishops aren't in power, there's no guarantee that this entire peace talk was for anything.
I think we should ask Gaia.
Mantellum cannot get this spark.
All right, well, Jackson, do you think you might be able to reach out between
Reach out, touch faith?
Reach out, touch faith, yeah.
Reach out and touch faith,
between
yeah.
her and her connection to Amorea and your, you're the best chance we have. Help me, Jackson Silver. You're our only hope.
Zephyr?
Yes.
That's the scariest thing I've ever heard you say.
I think you're quite capable. I am happy to put things such as this in your hands.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Meanwhile, we'll go talk to Leia, and then we can go talk to the archbishop, so we can wait until you're done. Yeah, we should wait until you have a positive or negative, and then we will go and talk to them.
I don't want to go to the archbishops with half a plan.
Like, no matter what Mantellum says, I feel like they're good people, you know? Like, Grex seems like a genuinely good man, you know? Like, Messis, Turbeto, they're kind of pricks, but, just for the most part, it seems like, although their decisions have been a little misguided, that they genuinely care.
In my head, they fall somewhere on the scale between my mom and Vin. They fall, in the middle.
They've done some real sketchy shit. Like Mantellum is definitely right there. I understand why they didn't tell all the wilds that, the guides, that the Forest Lords are gone. Because, that would create mass panic.
And open up a power vacuum.
But it was also, a bit rough.
But if they've been waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting for an answer, if Gaia is that answer, they pretty much have to do whatever we get Gaia to do.
Look, if we give them a clear answer and they choose not to take it, then we know, And then I don't want to say then we do what we must, but whatever that means, we do what we must.
Okay. I think we have
the plans.
We have
a plan, at least a short-term plan.
So Jackson, try to talk to Gaia. I'll go I'll find a place to talk to my mom.
Unless you want me to go talk to the bishops, because I can totally do that.
You can split up 3 ways.
That certainly, of the options, I think it makes more sense for me to talk to my mom. I don't think anything my mom's going to have to say is going to inform what you would need to say to the bishops.
Yeah, it's fair. Cool.
And if anything comes up, I can just send you Hugo.
Or Shapiji.
Look, I gotta keep Shapidji in my pocket for a little bit. We have to establish a bond. I have to attune to Shapidji.
I've got a Shapidji in my pocket. And they're sitting there giving me a high five. Very good.
You're going to give him the that experience tag so he can grind while you're walking around?
Oh, yeah, experience share.
Yeah.
Fucking stupid.
Yes, it is.
Mordecai.
No, I was just saying, I was planning on telling you where I was going to go to try to find my mom, and that is
Please
the
do.
last place I saw her.
A reasonable place to start. You walk up the flights of stairs and to the quarters where you know the Graynorian contingent are. Go ahead and roll me a d6.
Why?
Because there's
3.
there's dice in this game, Griffin. That's why.
Fair enough.
There's dice in this game, and I would like to see which of the NPCs answers the door.
All right. That would be a 3.
That would be a 3. A human answers the door. This was pointed out to be Bishop Nahilo.
Ah, I've heard of the name. And they would be a bishop to the guides, right?
Correct.
Cool. The Bishop Nihilo opens the door, and, like, my hand awkwardly goes to cover the Mavo amulet I'm wearing around my neck. Hello?
Mordecai,
Yes.
what can I do for you?
I was wondering if the Archdruid was available.
Your mother is here. Yes.
Great.
Come on in.
Thank you.
Leia, your boy's here. And Nahilo goes to sit down, and Leia comes out of her room.
I kind of stink eye the bishop a little bit as I walk by. Like, Mordecai doesn't give too much of a shit about being important, but, like, not in front of my mom. Come on.
Leia exits her room. Mordecai,
Archdruid.
what can I do for you?
I'll, like, gesture back to the door. It's like, I was wondering if I could catch your ear for a little while.
Of course. She goes back to her room, and she grabs a walking stick. As she reaches, you can see that she is still wearing the bracer that blocks Graynor's influence.
Yes. Thank the guides.
Oh, forgot about that thing.
And she walks out the door with you.
Cool. As we're walking, I'm just gonna start not really knowing, like, where else to go. I'm gonna head back up to the, like, rooftop access that Panat showed us, where I looked over the city, just to have some place to go, so it doesn't look like we're just randomly meandering the halls.
Sure.
I figured we could have a little time to, so much has been going on, and I figured we could just have some time to, catch up.
She stink eyes you.
We, and by we I mean me and Jackson and Zaf and Baylett, we, have you heard the name Mantellum?
I am familiar with the city's troubles.
We met him.
Did you?
He requested an audience, and we indulged.
And
he is painfully aware of all of the bishop's problems, and I just kind of gesture to, the floor and what's going on here at the temple.
That is expected and disappointing.
And, he's very, very close to making a play.
To what?
To take the football and take it to heaven. Shit, sorry.
No, that's very good. It's very important.
Football is now canon.
If he planned to take...
Yeah.
Isn't that effectively tantamount to suicide?
In a way, to my understanding. I mean, on this plane, yes. But then you go somewhere else where you have more power. I mean, I don't know. It happened with Amareya, and I mean, Jack can confirm that, Amareya is still out there somewhere. But it's, maybe going to get dicey here real soon. And, I mean, I know we're juggling like 3 balls right now because there's the peace talk stuff, and we still have to get back to Graynor to deal with Graynor. And now there's this. We might have a plan of trying to get the football into the hands of Gaia.
That's a play.
Gaia and Amareya talked once, and they seemed chummy. I mean, as far as patrons go, I mean, like, Gaia's pretty chill.
I mean, certainly not the worst plan. Better than the general or something, but
like, Gaia's got influence out here. The people out here in the wilds know Gaia. At least to some extent. Gaia's not too dissimilar from the Lords of the Forest, at least in essence. She's the Green Lady.
You're gonna find a lot of pushback, though.
I think we're gonna find pushback no matter who takes the dang football.
Fine. I mean, it's a good plan.
And so
certainly better than some of the alternatives that there may be.
Especially if Amareya has connection out here in the wilds now. He and Gaia have an alliance. It's going to be good for the wilds, is all I'm saying. Where we can't, like, Mantellum is almost certainly not going to be good for the wilds. And so I bring this because there's the potential we're going to need to run the football into the Feywild. And you have an entire retinue that you came with.
That would be an act of war, depending on how things go.
Not unless the bishops are on board.
That's going to take a big play.
I've got my best Dragonborn on it.
Speaking of which, Saphir.
Awesome.
Rewinding the clock back about 20 minutes or so. Your team has just broken. Who are you trying to track down and how?
I mean, if I can find any of them and convene like an emergency meeting is kind of the goal. I feel like Grex might be the easiest to find. He just kind of has that vibe about him. I mean, I guess the first place to start would maybe be ringing the bell for Penitence.
Penat comes down and is still looking a bit weary, but maybe slightly better assembled than you saw them earlier in the day. Brother.
I look around, I see if that no one else is around. I do the super secret deep handshake.
They return.
Nice.
There is a moment where the two of you clip through each other.
Oh, it's very good. Yeah,
it's sick as fuck.
Yeah, you do the handshake and then the hands clip. Like you do like one last smack, but your hands clip. It's great.
Yep.
And yeah, your fingers go a little wiggly for a second. And you have to shake it out. It's great.
Inside of each other's hands.
It's great. Hello. It's a matter of great importance. I need to speak to the bishops as soon as possible. Do you think you could make that happen? I know it's a big ask. They've had a bit of a day. Well, they've had a bit of a few days. But they're going to want to hear what I have to say.
I think I can get that taken care of. It'll take a couple of minutes. Where do you want them to meet?
The conference room where we met for most things, I guess. Hopefully a chamber where we won't be interrupted much and people aren't going to be walking by hearing things.
Penat reaches for their hand and takes a ring and twists it. The door is unlocked for you.
You are fantastic, and I will head that way.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like sit. I don't want to do like the dramatic, swivel around in a chair once they come in sort of thing. So I sort of stand respectfully by like the table, waiting to not welcome them. It's not my place to welcome them, but to greet them, I guess.
Somebody already did that to you tonight, and it was you found it real rude.
Yeah, I did not like it at one bit, and so I'm trying to do unto others as I would like them to do unto me.
You are you head down, and it is Turbado that gets there first, followed pretty quickly by the rest of the others.
I appreciate...
Saphir, what can I be doing for you?
If you don't mind taking a seat, I have some matters to discuss with you all. Thank you for being here so promptly. I very much appreciate it.
I barely gotten a chance to sit down, but fine.
I'm giving... Yeah, you can... Cool. Thanks, man. Yeah, once everyone's in, I'll grab a seat.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So Upon our last bit of discussion, actually, we were sort of dragooned by Mo of the Builders Guild, who was just waiting in our room. You should really take that guy's keys, maybe.
He is the foreman for the building. It makes it difficult to remove him from power.
Yes, yes, so he was, waiting for us, and very aggressively wanted us to go and meet with Mantellum that moment.
Messus, at that point, leans forward. Really?
Yeah, no.
Did he now?
Yeah, I didn't know if you were aware of that. Yeah, he hosted a rally for them in, a warehouse and stuff. He says that you were the ones that destroyed the place while there were people there, by the way.
What's your passive perception?
It's not that great. It's a 14.
With a 14, you notice Grex's eyes shift over to Turbado.
What was that?
What was what?
Grex leans to the side.
Was that you guys?
Well, it wasn't all of us.
I looked at Torpedo. Was that you?
I don't see how that's any of your business.
When you asked us to help you, it became my business because he is using Mantellum is using that as martyrdom to rise the people against you.
Turbado leans back, and Grex leans to the side.
You got fucking sloppy, Turbado. Not in front. Fine. It was me. It was us. Mantellum is a problem. You have seen as much.
Oh, I'm well aware of that. I met him face to face today, and I defended you to him. I would like to continue to be on your side, because until this point you have been courteous, gracious, and I believe you have the Wild's best interests at heart. The moment you invited us here to strike a peace, and we came gladly. And since then, you have trusted us with a lot of information, something that we are very thankful for. But Mantellum is knocking at your door, whether you hear it or not. He is coming for this spark, and he is coming with fury. He is using every misdoing and underhanded tactic. And I look towards Grex with this ones. The ones that have been sloppy or not. And he is creating an uprising of the people out there that you want to protect. If you want to move forward, you need to do so with transparency and honesty. And you need to be ready because he's coming.
Fine.
We have an option. I do not think you're going to like it. You can hear me out, and you can say no if you would like, but at least hear me out until I am done.
Agas looks to their bishop, and they receive communication and look back to you. Go on. We're listening.
Right now you have a beacon of incredible power below you that at the moment is not doing anything for you. And there are multiple forces that are trying to take control of it. We know a being, personally, that we think could make great use of it. One that we know has a rapport with Amorea Dejani and protects the earth, the wilds, will protect your home. Gaia, the Green Lady, whether you know it or not, has a large amount of influence in the wilds, as we've found. Before Amorea ascended, they struck a bit of a bargain to aid each other, creating not a new pantheon, but at least something close. If we get this to her, she will be on the same level as Amorea. They can do a lot of good, and that spark will be in good hands.
Give me an insight check.
Let's roll, baby. Ooh, that's a dirty 20.
You can tell, just from the shifting in positions and how everybody's sitting and looking, Turbado and Ligo are very hesitant about that. Messus is kind of teetering. Grex, you see a smile on Grex's face.
Your adversary knows more than he has any business knowing. I don't know how he knows the things that he does, but he knows them. And he will exploit every hidden piece of information you have until he can claim this and take control of Lee and the rest of the wilds. It'll be a hell of a task to get that out of here. Because the moment that leaves this tower, it's going to be a fucking open season, but...
Why does it have to leave the tower?
I don't know what...
Rex, you cannot be seriously considering this.
I don't know. Jackson is going to speak with Gaia. They are the closest out of us. I don't know whether or not she will come this far. You know, her home is the Feywild. But...
Well, if she's open to that, I mean, she's going to be going a hell of a lot farther, isn't she?
Fucking Grex.
Man, I thought Grex was the coolest, but the "you got sloppy" thing really put a bad taste in my mouth.
Jackson.
Yeah.
Team has broken. Mm-hmm. Master B is chilling out on the couch. And how are you going to do this? Because your goal last we talked was that you were going to go ahead and contact an arc being of the Feywild, and I would love to hear how you're going to do it.
You know, Jackson's plans have plans, and none of them have been thought through. So Jackson waves to Mordecai and Saphira as they walk out, and he's smiling, and then he turns around and goes to Baelet, "What the fuck am I supposed to do now?" I thought I was getting the easy job, and I think they pulled one over on me.
I think your conversation is probably the easiest one. I don't know if maybe the result is the easiest one to get, but if you can get the conversation going, that's, at the very least a pleasant one. The other two, probably not so much.
Probably not.
But...
Well,
But getting to the conversation is your struggle there, my friend.
Baelet, any advice on how to convince a patron to become a god? Come on, man. You've got an evidence dungeon. You've done a lot of stuff. You've read a lot more books than I have. Please, I just need some help.
So, here's the thing. Convincing a patron to become a god, honestly, probably not that tricky, depending on the patron.
Right.
Unfortunately, you have picked the patron who is probably most content in her position.
Yeah, there's that.
Because I can tell you right now, you could probably get the Wanderer on board pretty easy.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure the Wanderer would
probably
do
get
it.
the General on board pretty
I'm sure
easily.
Carrie'd say yes in a heartbeat. I think Carrie would probably come ask us.
Carrie may have brought it up.
Oh, man.
Hey, Baelet, should we call Carrie?
Classic Carrie.
No, that's a bad idea. As soon as I said it, I knew. I just...
Hey,
right.
Wilds, you want a new cool beholder god?
Piece of advice that I learned
Uh-huh.
that I learned a long time ago.
Sure.
Don't ask a question you don't want the answer to, because I can tell you.
Well, maybe Carrie's probably fine, because they're, out and about now, so...
Carrie's doing what Carrie wants to do.
It's
been an interesting
terrifying. Year. Okay. Well, is the roof a garden? The roof of the temple, is it a garden or one of those things? Or
it is a flat open space, kind of open to the air. Also, notably, Mordecai has already claimed the roof.
Yeah.
But it is not a garden, but you are well within nature. There are gardens and parks all around the city.
I turn to Baelet and say, all right, here's what we need to do. I need you to come with me and watch my back.
All right. Sure.
All right. Gary, let's go. You're coming. We're going to go talk to your mom.
You got it, boss.
All right.
How are we going to find her?
I'll figure it out when we get there. We go out the back door, and we are going to where we reappeared from the Feywild. We are going to the farm.
Mm-hmm.
Which is... It's not immediately close by. I do quickly scribble.
King Gaudium.
Yeah, we're going to Gaudium's farm. We're going to get some apple jam.
Okay.
I scribble down a note and leave it for Mordecai and Saphir. Do we need to make any rolls or checks? We do want to be a little sneaky, but...
I will say for the time being, no, you do not need to make any checks.
Okay. All right, so we make it out, say hi to Gaudium, and just make our way kind of out and find a nice corner of the apple orchard.
Sure.
Maybe by a river or something.
Mm-hmm.
And I turn to Baelet. All right, so I'm going to try to talk to God, and I don't know what happens when I do that, so just make sure I don't get murdered.
Are you talking to Gaia, or are you talking to Amareya Dejani?
Well, I'm going to talk to Gaia.
Okay.
Because I think we can do that, because she's actually had a connection with me, and then man, this patron stuff is weird, Baelet. Like, it's real weird a lot of the time.
It's all I know.
Okay, let's do this. Jackson goes and just kind of sets up a little shrine. He picks a couple of flowers and an apple and just kind of arranges them in front of him at the base of a tree, and we can hear the river burbling. Mm-hmm. He sits down and he crosses his legs and lays his scythe in front of him and pulls on the magical connection that he has with Gaia and with Amareya. And just says, Gaia, it's Jackson. Things are bad, but could be good. I need you here. And I think we may have a gift for you.
Okay.
Please come very quickly. And Jackson unwittingly casts Sending.
Oh. Okay.
So that was a sending to Gaia. He didn't know he was doing it, but that's what he does.
I love it. Go ahead. Sending, what is the percentage failure chance on that one?
Yeah, so that's a thing, right?
I think to another plane, it's just a 5%.
Yeah, it's 5. It's a nat 1.
Okay. Go ahead and, roll me the D20.
Oh,
just to verify.
Right. This would be a really bad end to this. That's a 2.
Okay.
Whew.
So we haven't done something like this before. So, what I'm going to have you do, Jackson.
Yep.
Roll me second, I guess, a religion check.
Okay.
And this is for creating your little altar.
Sounds good. Religion. It's an intelligence score.
It is.
13.
Okay. Not bad. Because this is the first time somebody has actually tried to petition a larger deity in this very specific way, I am going to break out the Strongholds and Followers Concordance rules.
Ooh.
Okay.
So you are petitioning a deity. I would like you to roll me a D100.
Okay, great. I have no idea what these rules are, so you are going to have to walk me through it.
I will. It's a D100 rules. I've got the table open. We are going to be modifying them slightly. So Go ahead, roll me that D100. You are going to get a plus 10 for having the altar built.
Cool. Okay, so I want high.
Yes.
Okay. Oh, buddy. When's the last time I rolled D100s?
Got this. Roll high, man.
Hey, thanks.
If I could bardically inspire you, I would.
Plus 10?
Yes.
97.
Oh!
Fuck off.
I rolled an 87. I rolled an 87. I thought it was a 78 and then realized I can't read dice. So it's an 87. 87.
Mm-hmm.
Sexy.
That's very good.
I am shaking.
The river that is running by is filled with chunks of ice as the winter chill has been breaking just a hair. You notice as you are praying and petitioning, there is a space in the water where it seems to be kind of bubbling and burbling, maybe a little bit more than it was a minute ago, and more and more. And you see these tiny rapids seem to be arcing up. And very quickly, Gaia is standing before you, a being of water and algae and seaweed. It is also worth noting, this is her, 15-foot tall form.
Fuck yeah. That's a big mama right there.
I don't know about you, but a watery tart distributing swords does not seem like the sound basis for a system of government.
What about scythes? She looks around and steps out of the water, and as she steps, she does shrink a bit to be a still very imposing 7.5 feet tall.
Gotcha.
But closer to what you are used to working
Sure,
with.
she can hide under the apple trees now.
Exactly. And she steps into the grove. Jackson, my son.
Hey, I didn't know if you'd come.
I didn't know if I'd hear.
That's slightly disconcerting, but also very sweet. Gary, go say hi.
Hey, Mom.
Hey, Mom.
And Gary flutters and nestles around her shoulders.
Classic Gary, am I right?
You see Baelit crosses his arms and bows in reverence and respect. Baelit, a pleasure.
My lady, as always.
Jackson, what can I do for you?
Well,
A lot.
see, I guess this is a big thing. How long you got?
How long do I need? And she snaps her fingers. 3 tufts of grass and moss shoot up from the ground. And at perfect sitting height, hers takes the form, as she goes to sit down, of a tall-backed armchair.
Nice. Perfect. Okay, so I sit down. Mm-hmm. So how aware are you of what's going on? Because I need to know where to start.
Let's say I am not unfamiliar with the situation, as things have become more known to the deep. I have been filled in as well.
Okay, great. So you know the Lords of the Forest are gone?
Yes.
Okay. So you know that like this entire country and the wilds and Lee and everything is pretty much about to descend into chaos. Like we're on a knife's edge and we don't know which way we're going to fall, but either one is bad.
The forest will fall to chaos once again. These things do happen.
Gaia, you have without question earned our trust and my trust.
Mm-hmm.
And I know what I'm about to offer you and ask of you.
Mm-hmm.
Can you take the spark?
And she falls back into herself for a moment and thinks. Thank you for joining us here on Another Path. You can find our website and merch store at anotherpathpodcast.com, on Twitter at anotherpathpod, and our network at ghostlightmedia.net. You could support our efforts by donating at patreon.com/ghostlightmedia. A special thanks to our donors Nate C. and Nathan N. Or by giving us a rating and review over on Apple Podcasts or whatever podcatcher will let you. You can find me on Twitter at TQLoudly, Ryan at RyanRolled20, Griffin at GriffCold, and Zach at ThatGuyZachRob. We'll be back in 2 weeks with a new episode, and until then, remember that asking tough questions, it's usually worth it. Mordecai.
I want to know.
Can you show me?
Go back to Jackson.
Back.
No.
Reverse.
No,
Nope.
I will not.
Fine.
This has been a Ghostlight Media production.